Welcome back, Generic episode 9. I'm your host, Mike Ray. A little unfortunate news. Robert is still missing. It's been over 48 hours, so the police have unfortunately called it off. Personally, I haven't given up. I know he would want me to continue this podcast, so that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, what's up?
What's up? How are you?
Where you been? Yeah. I ain't gonna ask
Don't
too
want to
much.
talk about it. Don't want to talk about it.
That's all good. I don't want to ask too much. Well, welcome back.
But I knew it was Wednesday night.
Wednesday night,
Gotta
don't
get
miss
back
it.
for the pod.
Fair enough. Well, I guess you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my name's Rob. Been missing for about 48 hours, but decided to make an appearance here tonight for Generic episode 9, I believe it is. It's kind of crazy.
It's
9
crazy.
episodes in.
Almost at double digits.
Yeah, kind of wild.
Yeah, cool. Glad you're back. But whatever. Anyways.
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll go over what happened.
My day today has been pretty long. Had a couple interesting past couple days. I don't know if I should get into it now, but I can.
Yeah, might as well
Might
tell
as well,
the
yeah.
fans what's going on here.
So as soon as Robert went missing, I went on the hunt. I went searching for him, and unfortunately, I got into a car accident because of it. It was a pileup. They was driving, slammed on the brakes because someone just slammed on their brakes in front of me, and I just did my best to brake, but wasn't enough. So the 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee is no more. She served me well for the past few years, but
Jeep is officially out of the friend group here.
Yeah.
No more Jeeps.
no more Jeeps.
It's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but everyone was okay.
Yes, that's all that
But
matters.
It was a very quick turnaround. I literally got a car that same day.
Oh yeah, you did. I thought it was today.
Yeah, no, I went.
He doesn't mess around. He gets his shit done.
I needed a car, so I got it done. My mama picked me up from the accident. Go ahead. I didn't think you were coming, honestly, so I just.
We got to get cozy over here.
Yeah, here we go.
We're trying a new setup tonight.
Yeah, we'll probably have a different setup every
we
single
go.
time until we are officially moved into our new place, which we are getting middle of April. So we're probably out of this hellhole, and then it served us well, but we'll be getting a new place here shortly. But
We'll do maybe a house tour, for post it or something.
yeah, I think that'd be fun. And then the new official podcast studio that we set up.
We could do a generic party.
Could do a generic
House party,
housewarming
generic.
party. Yeah, only in the podcast studio room.
Yeah, so I think that's maybe a 12 by 12 room. We can fit 60 people maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll help you get to know your neighbor.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I got a car the same day. Toyota, 2023 RAV4. Pretty excited about it.
What's a RAV4? I don't know anything.
Yeah, I was been looking at them for a while because I knew I wanted a car, but I haven't really ever thought about. You don't do something like that, like a big purchase, until you really have to. And then I didn't have a car anymore, so I was like, okay, I guess I kind of have to. So I wasn't really expecting to drop so much money in one day, but that's why you save money. But happy to be okay and everyone's okay, and happy to have you back, man. New car, new place.
Things are looking up slowly.
Mentally and slowly inclined.
I think kind of what I've been, and I think me and you have been talking about it too lately, is just find the positives in every little thing. You got a new car out of all this. It was a shitty probably morning.
Yeah.
But you got a sick new car now.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of what we were going to talk about today too. It's just mental health. We think, especially being in our 20s, but honestly, every age is affected by mental health. And we're just going to kind of talk about our experiences, what's going on in our lives, just stuff we hear from everyone around us. And just get into that. But we did post something the other day on our story.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate everyone for...
Before things went crazy with Robert going missing. But
Yeah. And again, we'll maybe make an episode out of that.
Maybe.
Or, I'll issue it a video. But I got some legal stuff I got to clear up.
Yeah, Arby's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to start with the...
Yeah, so on that, we posted a story of what would you tell your younger self if you could. And we got some responses here, and I found some of them interesting. Some were actually the same, which was kind of interesting and cool to see. So we're going to read those off, kind of give our thoughts on it like we usually do with our questions of the day or week, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We're still kind of arguing over that. But what's the first one we got here?
So first things first. Do we do names or keep it anonymous? You think?
I think maybe names this time.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
I feel like this is something important. We should
Yeah.
all know and shout some people out.
Or our boy Alex said, "I tell that little bastard the hard truth that playing NHL on the Xbox won't get you to the show."
And for those of you who don't know, the show is the NHL.
Professional Hockey League.
Yep, National Hockey League.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So pretty much what he's saying there is playing video games
Doesn't correlate.
doesn't correlate to making it to the NHL, where he should have been grinding on the ice. Probably should be doing that now, Alex. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any videos lately.
He made it clear the other day when we saw him that he's like, "I don't think you ever beat me in NHL." And I was like, "Okay,
I mean, we can run it.
we can run it."
Generic
I'm ready.
versus
Whenever.
Scotts Mill.
Yeah.
But-
Whoa.
We will be joining Scotts Mill, for those of you who don't know, but Apex folks. We will be switching teams over there,
Yeah.
Alex and Steven.
Yeah.
So yeah, good one, Alex.
Once rivals, now teammates.
We all come together.
Yeah.
We all come together.
Very good. Next one.
Next one tapped up for us.
Adulting actually sucks and time goes by too fast. So cheers to little things.
Very true. And I think
Yeah.
we were kind of talking about this in the kitchen. So I actually got switched to every week I have to do my medication injection. But me and Mike were on, I believe, every 6 to 8 weeks when we were
Yeah.
doing our Entyvio. And I looked at
For
Mike
ulcerative
tonight.
colitis?
Yeah, for ulcerative colitis. And I was looking at Mike tonight and I was like, kind of crazy. Like we would have our infusion and then before we know it, it'd be time for another one. And that was 2 months.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like, wow, this actually flies by.
Mhm.
And that kind of put it in perspective. But yeah, cherish the little things. I probably don't see my family as much as I should, considering they're like right down the road.
Yeah.
But I do cherish it when we are around because I know it is super rare to have everyone with their busy lives, working, kids, to get everyone in the same room.
Yeah. Because it's hard to prioritize when like 75% of your day is like working.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you want just time to like relax, it's kind of hard to like prioritize other things that like you should, but like you can't be mad because like it makes sense for
Yeah.
'cause everyone wants to.
It's the little things that count.
Exactly. Everything always works out in the end.
It does, and
It
I
does.
think those were both Brianna.
Yeah, Brianna.
Yep.
Shout out Brianna.
Shout out Brianna. Everything does, and that's kind of what I tell myself. I mean, you were both kind of going through some crazy times with.
Prime example, the car yesterday.
Yep.
Started the day with a car accident on the highway, but then I got to miss work, and then I got a new car. So,
New car.
but yeah, sorry.
Can't complain with that. No, that's pretty much what I was going to say. Like, it's what I've been trying to do lately in this job hunting and all that stuff, you know, like applying for this role at my current company is just staying positive. Everything's going to work out. Just got to trust the process. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It'll all work.
I agree.
He agrees.
Next
ladies and
question is
gentlemen.
Brianna. Walker says, "Don't compare yourselves to others. You're on your own unique journey."
I think Mackie said that one too. We won't make it two separate questions. But Walker, haven't talked to you in a minute. Hope you're doing well. I know you playing guitar. I do listen to those videos. Might have to have you on for some.
Grinding the gym too. It seems like.
Oh, are you? Shout out you.
I think so.
Gonna
Yeah,
have to-
based off his post, it seems like he is. So
We'll get you on as a guest, honestly.
Yeah.
Catch up.
yeah.
I think you guys had a class in high school and we kind of went our separate ways in college, but
Astronomy class with Miss Barton, maybe.
I thought it was Button or something.
But it could have been. I don't know. I just remember it was some space class, but it was
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, Mackie also said like comparing yourself, isn't
Very
working.
true.
Yeah.
Kind of off topic there with Walker, but I think
Oh, yeah.
growing up, you really want to fit in, and the main goal is to fit in.
Yeah. Seems like you have no choice sometimes.
Yeah, so like you do that, and just who cares? Like if you enjoy staring out the window, like just do it.
Yeah.
That makes you happy.
Mhm.
It's your life.
Once you choose to make yourself happy, and in return, you'll make others happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
We learned from that.
Yeah. Adults. Mackie also says adults don't know what they're doing either. We are all just faking it till we make it.
That's true.
That's-
I have no idea what I'm doing.
The older I get, yeah.
I think we can all relate to that, like investing. I mean, some of us probably know what we're doing, not gonna lie, and your clothes are down in the dryer.
Yeah.
Um,
Should I turn that off? You think it's?
if y'all hear anything, I hope it's like white noise. Put y'all to sleep. But
Yeah.
Mike is doing some laundry on this Wednesday night.
Yes.
But on that, yes, I feel like everyone in my job, we're just faking it till we make it, and that's the fun part about life, though, is you just take it as it comes. You're never gonna truly know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun, though. Experiences.
I think like you can tell the difference between like people in the workforce who are like are above you, who or like are management, and like they know what they're doing, to like others who like are definitely just winging it and like trying to like act like they're being a good manager by giving you more work than just like busy work and random things, but in return it's not. When like a good manager that you may have seen or something like that, you know, they trust you, they, you know, give you certain tasks, but they make sense. So I don't really know where I was going with that, but it's kind of personally is what I've seen in my experience. Like,
Sounded personal.
it's like, yeah, it definitely was. There's it's the longest I've ever that's the longest I've ever heard it go off. But yeah, definitely
Shout out dryer.
definitely adults are figuring it out as well. Always learning.
Always learning.
And the last one, Ryan says, invent DoorDash or Zoom.
True,
True.
or mine would be Bitcoin.
Invent it or invest in it?
Well, invest. If we're talking about like businesses and stuff,
Yeah.
all of those. Kind of crazy. Bitcoin was just out there for people to buy,
Yeah.
and we didn't. We could be millionaires right now, which we will.
Will be.
But good one. Definitely would be smart to tell your younger self that if you could go back.
Yeah.
But
Very interesting. I guess it was like pandemic-wise, definitely DoorDash and Zoom were like revolutionary.
Skype had a 10-year lead and folded.
They folded hard.
No.
I don't know how you messed it up, but
And
yeah.
I had $50,000 in that stock. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting just seeing what everyone thought. I know we had some funny ones in there, but also serious ones. How like we would go back and kind of give advice to our younger selves, and I think that, and it's going off again, I think your clothes are done. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy, like how we wish we all, and I've heard it multiple times, like we wish we could go back and, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But I also think that's like the unique thing about life.
Yeah.
Is like you got to learn from your mistakes. And I saw a quote the other day, or someone asked somebody, what's something like you would tell a younger person? It was like, don't be afraid to make those mistakes, which was very cool and interesting, because like it's the game of life,
Yeah.
and we got to learn from it and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you gonna regret it more by doing it or not doing it?
So,
You know?
and that kind of takes me to what we were going to talk about too, is like mental health, and just kind of, you know, how are we managing that, and just a little background on us, so it doesn't sound like we're just talking randomly and trying to sound like we know what we're talking about.
Which we don't.
We don't,
No,
but
I'm just kidding.
to a very, very extent level. But we're both, I think you're on medication, right? Helping you out with some anxiety.
No, I cut it off to cold turkey, but apparently you're really not supposed to do that.
Oh, you stopped it? Yeah, that is
Yeah.
not a great idea.
Yeah. But luckily nothing happened, so.
Yeah, good. Lucky there. Maybe it hasn't been long enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to take some. He's still alive here. He's
Yeah, I'm still
kicking.
good. We're still kicking.
Yeah, but we're both tried some medication. I tried Lexapro, but that did not work for me. And then my doctor said to try, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong for the nurses listening, propranolol. That's like a blood
Oh,
pressure and
yeah.
anxiety medication, and it has done wonders. My focus has just gotten a lot better, and just overall, like I feel so much better in my day-to-day activities. And I'm glad that I finally like advocated for myself and spoke up, like, hey, like I may suffer from anxiety a little bit. And to be honest, I thought anxiety was like fake when we were younger. I think we both kind of thought like,
Clowned on it,
yeah,
for
just kind of get over it. Like, what do you mean
Mm.
you're sad? Like,
Because, like, you see, like, the extreme people who, like, are very, like, upfront about it. And,
yeah.
like, I have anxiety, but, like, low-key, like, everyone did.
Mhm.
Like, some people are just more vocal about it, which isn't a bad thing. Like, good on you. But, like, the amount of people that, like, probably could have used help early on,
Mhm.
but you know, never really spoke up about it. You know, which could have been us.
Exactly.
But yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I think I knew something was kind of like up though, because it runs in my family, at least on my mom's side,
Mhm.
and I was like, it's fake, whatever. And then I finally like talked to my doctor about what's going on. He was like, let's do a little test. So he had me fill out like a 10-question questionnaire, I think it was, like 1 to 5.
Mm.
And he was like reading through these questions, like, for example, if you spill like a glass of milk, do you feel like you want to freak out? Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm going to probably like spaz out. And then just like, do you ever stay up at night just overthinking, which I feel like we all do. And I was like, yeah. When you're driving, do you ever want to like freak out? And I was like, yeah. And I think out of the score of like 40, I got 38, 39. So he was like, yeah, you probably got something going on there.
Yeah.
And again, this medication like has just changed the way I think about everything. Calmed me down a lot.
A good example. I don't mean to like laugh or anything, but the way 38 out of 40 is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But the milk thing and like freaking out, it reminds me of sophomore year after our accounting class.
Oh yeah.
And you held it together very well, but you did have to step away.
It's the only time I probably thought about like actually swinging on Mike and
Yeah,
getting physical.
we're random tangent, but somewhat relatable. We after accounting, it was always like a 9 a.m., 9:30 we got home or something.
Yeah, because it was an 8 a.m. class.
But we always had frozen meals, and like so we'd be eating like chicken Alfredo at like 10 a.m. But
Marie Callender's.
yeah, that was good.
It was not big though.
Not big. You're always hungry afterwards, then so we'd go get Wendy's after. But anyways, so we I think I went first or something.
We were looking forward to this
because like it's always like who gets to microwave their meal first or whatever. So I forget who did, but Robert pulled his chicken. It was chicken Alfredo, his favorite one out of all the frozen meals. It was the chicken. Would you agree?
Chicken Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo. Sure. Favorite dish. Probably top 5. Anyways. He pulls it out of the microwave, and always the same process every time. Pull it out of the microwave, go bring it to the living room in front of the TV on the coffee table where we can eat it. So he pulls it out of the microwave. He is walking around the corner out of the kitchen, and I'm like standing I'm standing there right next, like in front of him, like while he's passing by me. I'm going to the kitchen, and I just kind of like I gave him a little gave him a little clip with the shoulder. I wasn't much at all. I didn't think. I
wasn't expecting it.
Wasn't expecting it. I clipped him a little bit, and then all of a sudden he just folds and just. Chicken Alfredo just goes everywhere,
all over the floor,
and then he drops it, goes everywhere all over the floor. Just made it, and then he was like, he took a second. He was like, oh my gosh, and like instead of like yelling or anything, he just went into his room and closed the door.
I think if it was a lot of people besides Mike, I probably would have like freaked out.
Yeah,
but I knew like I couldn't. But it was like granted like 9 a.m. I shouldn't be eating chicken Alfredo at 9 a.m. in the morning anyway. But I was looking forward to that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just seeing it go on the floor was just devastating. I think I came out and it was fine.
Yeah, you said you're lucky I still have one left.
I did have one more left.
Yeah.
I think it actually would have been over for you if I didn't have one over.
Gosh, that was just sorry, but this is just an example.
Yeah. But that's some of the stuff they asked me though. And
yeah.
I'm glad, like, again, I stood up and, like, said something and asked for help. And I feel like that's a stigma about mental health. Is like, you don't want to be frowned upon. And I even communicated that to my doctor. I was like, I mean, I kind of feel weird saying it because, like, you don't want to think something's wrong with you. But it's like, nothing's wrong with you. It's just, I feel like life just
the factors of
causes
life.
that. Yeah. And it's definitely benefited me for sure. And that's something I think everyone needs to do. And I think Bree talked about it on her episode, is like advocating to the doctor, asking questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you had that kind of same experience with your medication, right?
The antidepressant medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was kind of like, I went on it because I was finally just like, okay, I feel like something's a little off. I have like OCD and tics and stuff, so I just, but then they just immediately put me on Zoloft, which is like an antidepressant. I was like, okay, like, I mean, I don't really know if like I'm depressed or whatever. Like maybe it made it seem like it was. like, sometimes I get sad and stuff, but I was more like, OCD, kind of like, overthinking and stuff like that, like the anxious side. But I guess Zoloft was a solution, but I hadn't really, like, seen anybody for real. And then I went to a therapist, whatever, as like a follow up after my primary care doctor. And then I just like told her about myself and like how I was feeling. She's like, okay, we're going to double your dosage. I was like, what? I was like, I mean, I haven't, like, you didn't, I didn't get any tests or whatever. She just questioned me, and like I just said like stuff like about myself. Like,
And were you already on it though at
yeah,
that time?
I was on Zoloft for like 3 weeks before I went to it, and then she was like, okay, we're gonna put you on 40 milligrams instead of 20 now. But like she was just kind of, it was like really awkward, like asking me questions. She seemed like she was in a bad mood, and then so like her solution was just like bump it up and then like more therapy. I was like, okay. So I did the Zoloft for like 40 milligrams for like a week. I never got the refill. I just like doubled what I had. And then I was like, okay, honestly, like, I don't really like feel like this is a solution for me. So not rightfully so. They didn't tell me I couldn't do this. And I heard it from Rob and my sister Lily. I cut it cold turkey because I was like, I just don't want to be on this anymore. I'm out of it. I don't want to go fill it up. But apparently that's not what you're supposed to do. No. Luckily nothing happened. I wasn't really on it for that long, but I was just kind of like, okay, maybe like pills isn't really what I want to do right now. Let me find some other solutions before just like getting on a high dosage of medication that can affect me negatively in different ways.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is like, I feel like there definitely is like mental health issues for sure, and it's bigger than like we ever thought it was. But I think there's also like this push from doctors to just kind of, all right, take this checkup in 6 months. And we've said it in multiple episodes, like how doctors are just kind of like, do this, check up, do this, check up. But like, again, like you need to ask, like, she doubled your dose when you just talked to her. It's like, she didn't offer any alternatives, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's where like maybe the holistic stuff can come into play. Like, okay, I will do this medicine, but what are some more natural ways that I can benefit myself? Meditation, supplements.
Yeah.
Yoga, like all that stuff. Like, what have you seen work for people? And that's where I think a good doctor versus a bad doctor comes into play, because my doctor kind of said music, yoga, exercise, all those will benefit your mental health and definitely the people around you too, like having a good support system. But we've seen it with celebrities. You think they have everything in the world, and they're some of the people that struggle the most. But that's where medication does help, But I don't think you should just go pumping more dosage into somebody. And I think that's kind of what's happening with a lot of the younger folks nowadays is like, yes, they're stressed and have anxiety, but I think these doctors are just over-prescribing. And this is personal opinion, but I think doctors are over-prescribing the medication and the pharmaceutical stuff way too much.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like when I went to like the therapist, she was like, it's always basic. It's like, okay, double your dosage, but like, make sure you do exercise.
The basic stuff.
It's the basic stuff, but I was like, obviously, like it's like I mentioned on I think Ron's podcast too. I was like obviously like this list of things to do is like easy, but like to have that mindset to consistently do these things is just like not as easy said and done than it is to like just take a couple pills and like hope it works,
Do you care to share? You don't have to. Just for anybody who hasn't seen a therapist or maybe is considering it, what are some of the questions she kind of asked to determine that you needed more?
Yeah, I mean, basically the kind of like basic questions like, are you depressed? Trauma? Is anybody in your family depressed? It's like along those lines. But it was like, I don't know, just like being asked like, are you depressed? Like I was like, is that like really a yes or no answer? Like
I don't know. To the actual root cause.
Yeah, because then I'm like, okay, like I mean, I get sad sometimes, but like I'm not like, I'm still happy. So it's like I'm like overthinking like how to answer it. Like, do I answer like falsely just so I can get some help? But like, I was just those kind of like really bland questions where it was like it seemed like I didn't really know how to answer. It's like I came here to like kind of figure my mind out because I, it gets confusing sometimes. Like my brain, like OCD and all that. But then she's like asking me these like bland questions that like I am at coming to her for the answers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I want you to tell me, like, give me a test to do if I'm depressed. Like, don't just ask me if I'm depressed. Like,
It sounds like she's just reading kind of off a script, like,
oh, yeah.
oh, if he checks 4 out of 5, we'll boost his medicine.
Exactly.
But again, it's like, you've barely been on the lower dose,
Yeah.
for barely, a month, and she's already trying to up it like that. And I think that kind of too, like, I don't think there's enough, and I think we all can agree, like, enough, like, access or available access to, like, mental health resources. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about too, because me and my girlfriend Brianna just watched the Selena Gomez documentary on Netflix, and one of her big, like, things that she's advocating for is, like, curriculum in schools for, like, mental health courses and just, like, emotional courses throughout school, because she said in kindergarten you kind of have, like, your smiley face, your mad face, your sad face. You learn about your emotions, but then really from there on out you're not really, like, being asked to really show them.
Yeah.
And she's saying, like, going through all those, because it gets harder as you get older, you know what I mean, you're finding yourself, that we need to have those classes to teach kids, like, it's okay to have anxiety, it's okay to speak up if you're feeling depressed, you don't have to hide it, or these are, some things that could be going on, just making people more aware of the issue. So I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, like, what you think about, like, incorporating that and just kind of the access the public has to, like, therapists and things like that, because I know that it's super expensive to even talk to a professional.
Yeah, I know that's like, it really hasn't really been looked at, for at least when we were in school. I mean, obviously you have, like, your school counselors and stuff, but, like, never really, like,
they were more so for, like, planning my classes.
Yeah, so there wasn't really anything personal like that, and, like, teachers can only do so much. So everything, like, it's just interesting because, like, you spend, like we are now, working 75% of our days at work, like, growing up, like, crucial parts of your life, you're going through, like, adolescence and everything, you're there for 75% of your day, like, not really sure how to feel. And like you said, like, as you get older, like, those kind of get just blocked out, like, those resources and, like, the ability to, like, show how you feel. So I think it would be a really good idea to kind of incorporate that, and not even like be forced upon, but just be, like, an option. And, like, were they, like, saying, like, make it a class, or, like, make it, like, incorporate it into, like, a curriculum, like,
incorporate it into, like, the required curriculum, which I think is super, super, like, valuable, or would be valuable. And she actually talked to Joe Biden about, like, that, or, like, trying to create, like, a bill that would incorporate that. Because again, I think there's just, like, a lack of mental health resources to everyone, adults, children, and young adults throughout the country.
Like, maybe, like, how you, like, you're required to do, like, physical education, like, at least for our, it was, like, half in class, half playing sports, like, maybe in, like, that class, it could be, like, heavily,
yeah, something, like, way more relatable than, like, all the stuff I've already learned, like, this is your leg bone, this is your arm bone.
Yeah, or watching, like, the Strange Addiction. Remember watching those? You never watched those?
I remember watching, what was it? The dude who ate McDonald's for 30 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, Super Size Me?
Super Size. That was gross.
That was gross.
But he did it. But yeah, I think that's, like, a super good idea to at least bring that out, or make it an option, kind of like you said, because, again, there's, like, a lack of it, and we've both experienced it. And I think just kind of going through life, you need someone to talk to. Like, everyone's going through something, and you hate feeling like you're a bother to someone.
I agree.
But again, I think, like, the medication side of things is, like, there needs to be a more holistic, as a person approach, rather than, like, let's guess.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually studies like these SSRIs, which is kind of what you were on, I think, that they don't even know if they actually, like, truly work for the problem, which is kind of crazy. And then it's just wild. And then I think, and one thing I want to talk about too is, like, how does social media kind of play into your day-to-day activities, like when you wake up?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
We talked about it earlier, like, waking up, and, like, I mean, usually I don't wake up and have time to, like, look at social media. I wake up and chill for a second, and then go to the gym or work. But when you're on social media, it's usually just like bad news.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, fortunate enough, I don't start my day with social media typically, but I mean, like I'll end my day with social media. So TikTok though, I mean, it'll be funny videos, so it's not always bad things. But
I think a lot of us love TikTok.
I know I just know people, and like I hear like even like celebrities and stuff like Cody Ko, shout out Cody Ko. He like wakes up and looks at Twitter and he's like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like I'm just like now on this tangent of like some weird thing. It's like did I really need to do this right away?
You'll get on like an Instagram thread of videos and like
Mm-hmm.
2 hours later you're like on those videos of the dudes like building huts out of mud.
Yeah, exactly. And
like,
some of it's
what
kind of
you-
lit, but like I know like starting your day, it's really important to like wake up. I heard it's really good to wake up to like natural lighting,
Mhm.
like not just like always having the blackout curtain. Like
That is me. I am blacked
Yeah.
out like in my room for sure. No light at all.
yeah, it's very nice when like on the weekends and stuff
Yeah.
where I can sleep in. Like I'm like okay, but like, it's good to like wake up to like natural lighting. Stretch, move, drink a bunch of water, kind of
Mhm.
like get your body flowing before doing anything. And if you can like not look at your phone for the first like 10 minutes, that'd probably be very vital to like changing just the mechanics of your brain and your mood to start the day. Honestly, probably.
Yeah. It's wild how social media kind of does affect everyone. And I think like you want to, again, like you see trends, you want to do that. But also I think social media is or can be like a super useful resource as well.
Yeah.
Because one big thing, especially with ulcerative colitis, they told me you can find like these, what do you call it, like forums or groups where like people who are going through the same thing can talk about it so you feel like you're not alone. And that's part of like the resources that I think should be out there for like mental health.
There's BetterHelp. We're not sponsored by BetterHelp, the online
BetterHelp.
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that when we get sponsored by them. So, anyways.
We shot them out first.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, I would say social media is more useful than it is not because everything can be found on it.
Yeah. We literally have the world at our
Yeah.
fingertips. I wanted to ask, not to cut you off though, but I think it is super useful. I know you said like OCD tendencies, and I think I kind of have a few of those myself. But if you're willing to go into detail, like kind of what do you mean by that with yourself?
Yeah, I've always had like OCD, like, I don't know, like not always just like the typical, like, make sure everything's organized, but random things like if you don't do something, something's bad can happen to like somebody you care about.
That's exactly what happened.
So like, always growing up, it'd be like I have to like look at all the, and you even know, like leaving the house, like look at all the locks, like literally 20 times at my parents' house. I always had to go back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and then like even now, like I just like it felt like a twitch for my arms. So like just randomly, I'll be like randomly just twitch.
We call him Twitch over here.
Yeah, we do call him. Yeah, me twitch.
It's actually a funny nickname.
Yeah, but yeah, just like random things like that, random movements and stuff that like you don't really think about doing until like that's happening. You're like, oh, I guess I need to do that for some reason. My mind said it's time to do that. But random stuff like that, where it's kind of like a mental thing, where you kind of like need to do it, or else like some hormone or something in your mind would be like unsatisfied.
Impending doom
Yes.
or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you said it's been a while, right? Like, did you ever kind of speak out as a kid about it?
Yeah, I went to I got like diagnosed with it when I was like 6 or something, and like saw a guy, but then that was it. And then like eventually like I went through like a long period of time without like I just kind of like got over it, and like it'd be like small things every now and then, but like it gets to the point where it's like so frustrating like mentally because you're just like, this is stupid. Like it's stupid, but like you
You
just
have
can't.
to.
Exactly.
to
So
do it.
it's like eventually like with like the arm twitching, I'll finally like reach a breaking point. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I'll just stop. But it's just like anything. It's almost like an addiction sort of, where it's just hard to break.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, mine's mostly like the high blood pressure. It runs in the family. I know that's not necessarily mental health related, but I definitely.
It's not. So I don't know why. No.
Oh shit. But I also have anxiety. Not as bad as some others, but definitely it can control my life at points, and I kind of recognized it once. Like I saw my family members kind of get help for it. I was like, oh, like this makes a lot more sense that I'm more like educated on it.
Yeah.
And again, I think anxiety is like a way more common thing than like we ever thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that might just be all the technology we have nowadays, access. But that's kind of what I suffered with, and I just thought it was normal to constantly be like freaking out and stressed 24/7 and overthinking. But like my doctor literally told me like that is not normal.
Yeah.
He was like, "Can you ever relax?" And I was like, "Not really. Like even when I am relaxing, I'm like not relaxing. I'm freaking out about something."
Before the podcast, we were just like, bro, we were not freaking out, but it was like 9 o'clock or something. We're like, man, like it feels like I just got home. Like we just started relaxing because it's like we're relaxing, but like freaking out because of the amount of time we have only been able to relax, and like it feels like we haven't been able to relax for that long because like I just got home, but it's like it's been a couple hours, but it feels like nothing. So it's like always something. Always something.
Do you think in this kind of getting off that, like OCD, anxiety, whatever you're going through, do you think like your routine, like getting into a routine, I think we alluded to this or touched on it earlier in some of our episodes. Like how does your routine help you with your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to kind of like have a set schedule, just to kind of like have more purpose than like outside of working. At least in my eyes, it's like, I literally I got pulled into the office the other day because they're like, you always leave at 5, like.
Oh yeah, tell them about it.
Yeah, so because I value my time outside of work, like not just because I don't like my job, but also because I like to, the people outside of work are way more important to me. So I was like, I was leaving at 5:03, and then my manager pulled me in. He was like, "Hey man, you're doing a good job and all that, but like you're leaving like right at 5. Like this isn't an 8-hour job." I was like, "What?"
That's what I signed on to do.
That's pretty sure that's in the handbook and everything, but go off, whatever. But he's like, "Well, like, what do you do outside of work? Do you have like other obligations?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's just a pathetic question.
Yeah, I was like, "Bro,
it's none of your business."
I was like, "I really value my time with like outside of work. I play hockey. I'm literally supposed to be going to church right now. Like, all these things is like shouldn't matter to you, honestly, and like you can't just force me to stay after.
Yeah.
But whatever. But because all these things outside of work, like keep me mentally sane. Not like I'm crazy, but like mentally sane, like mentally like happy. Because like obviously, I'm still like talking to all my friends, talking to my girlfriend, like throughout work, but like just texting and stuff as much as you can. But when you're like outside of work, I like to work out. I like to do the ice bath sometimes, hit the sauna. Hang out with you, hang out with Samantha, just hang out with people, and have like somewhat of like a set schedule where we do that. It's been different now since the squirrels, but
yeah,
it
kind of gives your mind though something like structure.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is super important. Some people do like to wing it, but I think structure can be super important because you like can do those little things that do help you relax or bring you happiness throughout the day, rather than just being a robot in a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, and like some cases, like some like routines are more stressful than others because like I know like I really want to like start the day off at the gym because it just starts your day off right. And
I have been slacking for sure.
It's hard because like after work it's hard to go because you're tired. But Samantha's been going after work, which is impressive. But yeah, but like then also like after work it's like I'm stressed because like I only have this amount of time to like go see Samantha and like hang out and like actually like have a good time, like hang out before it's like time for bed because like I like to go to bed early, but I don't. But because you want to stay like that freedom, what we joke about.
Yeah. We were talking the other day, and I think a lot of you guys can relate to this too. Is like I'm tired and I want to go to sleep, but like I get so like fascinated on my phone, and then I'm looking. I'm like, well, I'll go to bed at 10:30, and then it's like 10:31. I'm like, might as well make it to 11. You know what I mean? Like,
keep pushing it.
And it's because I know if I go to sleep, God willing, I wake up tomorrow, I gotta go to work. So I want to hang on to any sense of freedom. I have to.
Do you have any kind of things like we have similar things?
Similar like the gym, but also like my doctor told me like finding something you like to do, which is this podcast. He said that's a like great idea, But also, you know me, like I love sports. I just started picking up the hobby of just like
Yeah.
looking into sports cards. Collecting kind of gives me some sense of enjoyment to
Yeah.
dig through and find a player I like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, you know, some community that I would love to get into.
Yeah.
But he said hobbies are super big. Just
Mhm.
and again, that's where social media fine, like yoga groups that you can go to the park and meet with,
Yeah.
because it gives you that sense of purpose, that
Yeah.
sense of being and involvement that you need. And I think a lot of people like loneliness during COVID. That's a whole mental health crisis right there in itself. People were
Yeah.
lonely, people were locked up, and it just shows like how important it is to actually
Mhm.
be able to go out and do your daily routine.
Yeah.
And again, what helped us do COVID? Our routine, running, video
Working out.
games, like ideally no work. It was great,
Yeah.
but we literally, I feel like, peaked mentally right there. We were
Yeah.
chilling.
Stress free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. Is there anything that you would like? Because I know you just picked up the card collection,
Mhm.
which is really cool because they're pretty cool looking cards and be worth more money in the future as well. But
Hope so.
also, is there anything that like you would want to start adding? Like nothing crazy or anything. Like maybe journaling, maybe like reading a
Yep.
chapter.
Yep.
I think you mentioned like maybe going to church.
Yes.
Just like not just because like you know you want to like take on more things, but just because like mentally it'd be nice to like have like other things just to add on outside of work that give you
Mhm.
more purpose and enjoyment.
Yeah, I think, and that's a great question actually too. And I think it's like hard to actually start with something.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to like collecting something or going out to eat, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Like
yeah, because
I love
it's easy to spend money.
I love spending money. I
Yeah.
used to not be, but you know, now that I have it, I'm like, sure. But kind of like the journaling,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not much of a writer. I've thought about it. Like, I thought it was stupid to write down your thoughts when I was younger, but now it's like I would love to just kind of sit down and write about my day.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing, like for me personally, and me and my girlfriend have talked about it, is just church. I've never been like super religious. I was, you know, raised around it, but not like crazy. We would go occasionally, but like you talking about it, my uncle talking about it, my sister's gone a while. Like it's just good to kind of hear stories, regardless of what you believe.
Yeah.
That's great, you know, of just like some sort of positivity. Here's what he did. Here's kind of what they did, you know, and just hearing those morally good stories and just people around you being genuinely like happy.
yeah.
I think that you can feel the energy
Mhm.
around it, and just hearing you kind of talk about it is definitely like what's driving me. And I feel like something's even calling me towards it, not to get like super religious, but like
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great thing to incorporate in my life. But like I'd be lying if I didn't say like I'm a little nervous, you know, like pulling up to a church for the first
Yeah.
time. I can't remember the last time I have stepped foot in a church.
Mm.
It's kind of intimidating because like you know all the like religious stuff around the world. Like I don't want to. Am I dressed right? Like
Yeah.
is someone gonna ask me a question I don't know? Am I gonna
Mhm.
look stupid? You know, like
That's what I like about.
that's what's kind of hesitating or stopping me from
Yeah.
going.
Well, if you do choose to go to Hope, we go to Hope and Cary by
Yeah.
the Ice House, but it's like super chill, super casual. I mean, like if I can, I'll usually wear like jeans, you know, like
Mhm.
and like a shirt or something, but very chill. And like you literally walk in, there's always people holding the doors, like they guide you in. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then it's like an auditorium kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
we're the new place, so you walk in. And then you just like go pick out your seat, and then they start out with like 3-4 songs, but it's like a band, so it's like guitars and like really good singers, so it's like more lit than like the class, like not shitting on anything, but like the choir, like oh, like that.
That's what I was gonna say. The newer church is definitely what I
Yeah.
want. Not the brimstone fire, but the more just like love.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
what you want. You're
And
like,
they'll be like, there's always like they do like I forget what they call it. Smith would know, but like different kind of segments where like for 4 weeks we'll be talking about this main like idea, and like they'll just be like, okay, here's like a preacher, this guy, and he'll start, or pastor, they'll start telling stories.
it's like a lesson.
Yeah, exactly, literally a lesson, and like they won't even be like, you must do this, you must. It's just like they're just telling a story, and then every now and then they'll be like, okay, just turn to this page for like reference, and like this is what they said. Like they'll quote the Bible, but it's like never like super like intense, and then like always like me and Samantha, we always leave, and like we just like always talk about it because like we're like intrigued because like it's always something relatable before you even think about it. Like I remember one, I think we talked about like the guy that like said like you sometimes silence is like the best, but like yeah, it was like nice idea to have that like silence, like if you could just like shut everything off for a second, just like be quiet. But like realistically, it's kind of hard to when you're
In
working.
today's world, yeah.
Yeah, so like stuff like that, it's like sometimes we can agree with what they say, sometimes you disagree, but it's just really it's something I look forward to doing because it's just kind of like. And I was never like I obviously grew up like around church and stuff. I was never like super like religious, but like I'm more like now religious and like the ideas like behind like the
moral
Bible. Yeah, exactly.
behind it, yeah.
Like obviously like I believe there's a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
But like listening to these stories like behind the Bible, and I'm sure there's like others with like other religions too that you can learn from and stuff. But
Always a lesson somewhere out there. That was a good question. Yeah.
yeah.
I think those like non-monetary things you can do
Yeah.
that don't necessarily involve money are great ideas, especially like the journaling, the meditation,
Oh, we go to cookout right after.
Yeah.
Oh.
which
Yeah.
does make you feel good.
Yeah, I used to
But all those little things are great ways, like
yeah.
you can figure it out, like
Mm,
help your mental health, and that's what the doctor said too. Find those little things
yeah.
throughout. Try everything.
I tried doing a planner. Like I would just like try to plan out my day or
Yeah.
a week and like
Mhm.
have goals. And I was too inconsistent with it. Where it's like it's still like in my bag. Where I keep it in my bag because I'm gonna do it, but then I just always forget about it. So like, it's something I want to do. Like at least like have a planner, plan out my week or something. Have goals to like
Mhm.
achieve. But sometimes it's just hard.
I think vision boards are good. Just it's all like, what can you do? Because obviously, like I know a lot of mental health things can be like chemical imbalances in your brain. Like you can only
Yeah.
can control what you can control,
Mhm.
but it is like, again, what we touched to, like, how can you look at it more as like the person, more so than let's just kind of mask the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I think that's a great idea and thing. Like we need to be taught more, and there should be like more light on it around the country or just the
Mhm.
world in general.
Yeah.
And I feel like mental health, you can just talk about it for hours and hours because we all have like our individual stories, things we go through. But I think it's a conversation, and I'm glad we kind of talked about it, like that you shouldn't be afraid to have
Yeah.
with people around you.
I agree. There's in Matthew McConaughey's book, it's called Green Lights, and hitting a green light is like when you find yourself in a part of your life where you're like excelling and you're improving, like you found something that's like really good for you and like things work out. And I think those are really key takeaways, like the routines and stuff like that, and like finding a positive thing for your
Mhm.
mind. So
Do
shout out
that,
McConaughey.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Read his book.
again, like we can just keep going on and on about it, but we just wanted to kind of hit on that, talk about what we're going through on our end, and then all this stuff like we found helpful, which was like the gym, church, just having that support system, all those routines as well. But really just like if you're going through anything, feel free to reach out to us. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself is the biggest thing. I know we typically end on positivity, but I think that's like the main, message is like it is okay to have, mental health issues or
Yeah,
anything like that. And there's options out there to do it
definitely.
or fix it.
Yeah, and there's always, no matter how low you feel like you may have gone, there's always a way to get back up. So
Mm-hmm.
whether that's through therapy, through like exercise, meditation, prayer, literally anything, just reach out for some help, whoever that may be, or do some research on your own. But there's always a way, and that's what we're kind of figuring out. This transition into adulthood, even though we're like in our 20s, we're still like in that transition. I feel like
Quarter life crisis.
quarter life crisis.
I keep seeing that word. I didn't even think it was something.
That's a dang. I didn't even think
Yeah,
of
like you have your midlife crisis, and then you have your quarter life crisis.
that. Yeah.
Because I think like high school, you're just finding yourself. College, you really find yourself, or whatever you do after high school.
Yeah.
But then now it's like, oh shit, stuff's kind of like getting real.
Mm-hmm. All these terms about
Mhm.
like paying bills and stuff I've never heard of before, but now I'm like, oh, I guess I have to know this. But that's why it's good to have good people around you to help you out, and then
401k,
401k,
Roth IRA, stocks, bonds, jobs, insurance.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Not sponsored by Steve Jobs, but
Steve
maybe one day we
Irwin.
will. But yes,
He's
yes, Steve Irwin, King.
king.
Would love to have him here with us, saving the Stingrays. I'm sad now, but but yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah.
We clearly, again, don't know how to close out. It's a tradition, but we could be bluffing, and this could be our closing out because we
Yeah.
do know how to close out.
Exactly. So basically, we